I've been having technical difficulties all this time and finally got live. Hey, so what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Wisdom channel. Say shout out to everybody. I meant to do this video last night, but right now I'm just touching on it real quick. This concept of free thought. I don't usually do videos on celebrities and trending topics and stuff like that. I kind of stayed away from that for a while. But I really want to touch on this because I feel like it's so important, and people tend to, especially within certain circles, they look at it as someone being crazy when they have the idea of having a free thought or thinking for themselves. And I'm seeing a lot of celebrities come out and say things in reference to this this whole thing with Kanye West coming out and stating his thoughts. And I think, and obviously, as influencers, you'll say what's on your mind or what's perceived to be an influencer. And when I say an influencer, he really is an influencer in culture, within black culture all around. And he's talking about running for office as far as politics and stuff like that. But what troubles me is what I see on social media, and he's being called crazy and what's wrong with him and this, that, and the third just for having an opinion on something. Now, just the way he said, and I'll attach, have the link in the description later on when I edit this video. But he doesn't, just like me, I don't agree with everything that Trump says. I don't agree with Trump on everything pretty much, but I do respect the fact that this guy came and won, and that's kind of like what Kanye West said. But I'm watching the TIs, different people with opinions, and they're like, "What's wrong with this guy?" As if everyone is supposed to think the same. And I know Chance the Rapper came out and he said something, and people tend to have a concept or tend to believe, especially in the black community, that and it seems to be this way a lot of times, that all black people are supposed to think the same. We're supposed to have the same political ideals, the same political ideology. I mean, we're supposed to be as a unit overall and think these same thoughts. And if you have a thought outside of what is perceived to be or what the media tells you to be, and which is kind of what Kanye West was saying, you're going against the machine. You're crazy. And they tend to try and ostracize you. Same thing kind of like with Dave Chappelle, what he was kind of describing, I think, when he was on the Actors Guild, and he was talking about just because you don't understand the person or you don't understand where someone is coming from, they're crazy. Something's wrong with them. And we all know that this man is kind of detached from reality. Like, I guess it was said he just started watching CNN, he just started watching the news, which is kind of dangerous to endorse a candidate. You don't know anything other than the fact that he was a reality star, real estate investor, he's a billionaire and had all these other things going. But just to throw a blanket indictment and say, we're not messing with him based upon this. A lot of this stuff is for shock value. Obviously, he made, a ridiculous comment about, slavery being a choice. We all know that he was out of bounds for that. And I think he went on to expound or said one part of the interview where he was talking about that black people were in slavery for 400 years. Why did it take a white man to free black people? It's kind of like what he was getting at. Not to say that when we look at it, obviously, not that there wasn't anyone fighting for it, but if you're disenfranchised, you don't have any pull. I guess he was saying that it takes a group of white individuals, rich white men, to come together and say that this is wrong, or for whatever ulterior motive, just to bring an end to slavery. And then obviously, without question, black people as a whole within this country are dealing with, you know, things that what has transpired over this 150, 160 plus years, 170 plus years, whatever it is right now that we're at. And with that being said, I had meant to start off this video by reading the definition first of free thought, because this goes into the whole philosophy, and obviously the Matrix touches on this and things like that. But free thought, as stated by Wikipedia, is a philosophical viewpoint which holds the positions regarding truth should be formed on the basis of logic, reason, and empiricism rather than authority, tradition, revelation, or dogma. And a lot of these views, I think, in the black community, obviously are dogmatic. Like saying that, and Chance said, and I guess he caught flack for it, that all black people should be all. He said all black people don't have to be Democrats. But I think people are drawn towards being Democratic because they feel like that's the thing to do. Both of these are two sides of the same coin. Republican, Democrat, neither one are out for your best interests at the end of the day. A lot of these things, it's not really affecting you for the most part. So we sit back and he says, which I totally agree with him, because since I was bringing my own self in it personally.
You okay?
Yeah, can I get a tall Bud Light? Yeah. Just bringing myself personally, I felt like that since I was a child. Not to go along with the flow, to think, have my own thought process, have my own ideals. Especially if it's something that I don't agree with, and I've gotten into a lot of trouble, or I've been pushed away or shunned because I just felt like I didn't have to go along with, didn't agree with a lot of stuff that was going on around me. So I'm glad in the news, regardless of what was happening, this man was holding his ground, even when he had friends, his celebrity friends, coming at him saying a certain thing. You're this way, you need to change your thought process, you're doing this, you're doing X, Y, and Z. We need to look at, and I know people aren't going to like what I say, but he's being real about a lot of stuff. You listen to what he says instead of just focusing on a soundbite on what Kanye West said. People edify and put Barack Obama on such a high pedestal, and this isn't any way me saying anything great about Trump, but we look at 8 years of Obama, and there's really nothing to show for it. Thank you. Thank you. There's really nothing to show for it other than, I'm talking about the collective African diaspora in America, black people in America as a whole. There's nothing really, and we really need to have this conversation of what Barack Obama has done for black people in America as a collective people, the African diaspora. What has he done? And I ask that question time after time. Other than obviously he's letting you know it can be done, and he's not even fully black, just like myself. It's half black, half white. Other than him giving that hope, the audacity of hope that it is possible for a black man to be president. Other than that, he's really done nothing, at the end of the day. So we really need to think about what it is. Do you have free thought? Are you just going off of what your parents taught you, or what your friends are talking about? Do you think that this is, you know, it's only right to let me just attack Kanye for his 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 thought process on something? I've always gone against a lot of beliefs. And here's the biggest point I wanted to talk about in this video, and I don't know how much longer I'll go after this, but when you educate yourself, and people will say, "Well, Kanye West is living in a bubble." Many people, once you educate yourself on contemporary events, the world, history, politics, and things of that nature, what's really going on, rather than what the news is showing you. Once you educate yourself on something, you free yourself in the process. You free yourself from a certain thought process of things. So you're saying he's rich, or because he's rich, and which I'll attach the article from the Roots, I believe that free thought is a white concept. Free thought is for white people. This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. What has changed in this world without free thought? Rather than a bunch of sheep going along with each other, and you're not doing any research for yourself. And I'm seeing all of this ignorance from people on social media saying dumb stuff, and you really don't even know. Have you even educated yourself on politics or what's going on? Kanye West, he'll say it himself. You watch his interviews that he's done, even with Charlemagne and what T.I. was talking about. He hasn't educated himself on politics at the end of the day, and he doesn't call himself a role model. He doesn't know a lot about Trump in reference to politics, which is very dangerous, like I said before. But I guess he explained himself about he why he loves Trump. But he also said something else that was powerful, which is the same thing Steve Harvey. When Steve Harvey met with Trump, people had a problem and said he was a sellout. What are you not supposed to? Are you not supposed to meet with Trump and talk to him and open up some type of dialogue? Like Kanye West was saying this. Is he not supposed to, if he was invited, to sit down and try and talk about some of the issues out there? But Barack Obama is so golden, we need Barack Obama back in office. Barack Obama back in office for what? Ask yourself really, other than you sleeping, you feel like you can sleep better at night based off of the virtue, if you are black, of a black man being in office, but a black man's not getting anything done for you. And I'm just saying, you can get mad all you want and watch this video and call me whatever names, but ask yourself really, if you're willing to do the research, if you don't know offhand, what has Barack Obama done for the African American collective in the United States of America overall? Just like when Kanye said something about what has he done for Chicago, you're gonna turn around and throw it back on Kanye. Kanye West is a rapper. He's a hip hop artist. He's not the president of the United States. Trump was talking about sending the National Guard into it, and without a doubt, I'm pretty sure Trump would make something like that happen. Trump would, with all this is going on, he was saying, don't make me have to send whatever. I think it was most likely the National Guard. Don't make me send the National Guard into Chicago. You know what I mean? So what we must understand in this world, especially in America, is that crime pays. Crime employs a lot of people. This system, the judicial system, every part of it, Department of Justice, Department of Corrections, all these things, profit. It's just profit. It's profit. It's profit. So you and Kanye said it in his interview, Barack was just too perfect. He was just too perfect. Nothing wrong with that, having that appearance, but this is what you expect. And he said it's okay for black men to be imperfect, but in the United States, you have to be perfect. You have to be perfect. But free thought, like what I was getting back to, you ask yourself, are you being Voltron? Are your views being influenced by the news? Are your views being influenced by a meme on Facebook or something like that? Is that really what influences your thought process? Is it any individual separate research that you've done, or is it something that you heard Ti or some other rapper say that has swayed your opinion? Because a politician is a politician at the end of the day. You have to understand the way this whole system. I'm not completely up to speed on politics and this bureaucracy and House of Representatives, the Senate, Congress, all of these things, the process. But I know for sure that I'm not going to throw blanket statements or just say something crazy because of I heard a celebrity say it, or a celebrity I like doesn't endorse this person. When that celebrity probably hasn't done any research on stuff. You think people are crazy when they don't agree with your point of view. That's a lot of people's definition in this world, especially in our country, United States. The definition of crazy is whoever doesn't agree with you, or it's not in agreement with you based upon something. I've heard someone say that I voted for Barack just because he's black, and I'll continue to vote for Barack just because he's black, even though he could be sending you to hell in a handbasket, and you don't care other than the fact. Just like the same thing this ignorant fool said about George Bush. I voted for George Bush just because he's a Christian. I don't give a damn about none of that shit. Yeah, if you're black and like Trump, you'll be crucified. Shout out to Marcus Brown. Y'all check him out on social media and his Instagram and his YouTube channel. He doesn't put out much videos, but y'all check him out on Facebook and on Instagram. He's a conservative, and he puts out a lot of stuff. Anthony Brian Logan, the great O'Shea Duke Jackson, all these people. Black Republicans are like unicorns. Me, I don't care about either one of those parties. This is my opinion, because I know it's all the same shit at the end of the day. It's all the same. So we ignorance and complacency is the most dangerous thing on this earth. People will run over you. I have for those of y'all know, I have one of my side businesses is credit and trade lines, credit repair and trade lines. And I see it firsthand all the time, ignorance out there, especially when it comes to finances. And I don't say ignorance as far as it being negative, what's happening, but ignorance as far as the unwillingness to learn anything. And if you want other people to teach you stuff and you don't learn anything on your own, then get the likes up if you don't mind, if you're still watching. It doesn't cost you anything. You know what I'm saying? It'd be greatly appreciated. Either like it or give it a thumbs down. That helps out too. But ignorance is a serious issue, you know, in society as a whole, but ignorance will put you in a bad place at the end of the day. Unwillingness to learn new things will put you in a bad place at the end of the day. I was talking to a acquaintance of mine in reference to the law of attraction and manifestation. And ignorance is what keeps a lot of the things that we want to manifest at bay. I mean, not at bay, but so far out of reach, because the only thing we can manifest is, a drink, a beer, a bag of weed, some bundles, a used luxury vehicle, some, something. But anything